Welcome everyone to today's Ninja Skill Booster, the 19th of January 2023. We're getting started for 2023 today, our New Year Kickstart. My name's Matt Cowdroy. It's such a pleasure to have so many people joining us today for this session. Lots to think about as we plan for 2023 as productivity ninjas. I might get everyone to just put in the chat, if you can, please. How are you feeling about 2023? I'd love to get a little sense check here. How does it feel that we've started the year already? How are you feeling about the year ahead? Positive, ease and grace, positive, pensive. Oh, I like lots of P's coming up here. Feels better than 2022. Yes, it does. Awesome, excited, refreshed, ready to get into it. Cautiously optimistic. I like that one. Nervous. Already an uplifting start. Thank you. I might get you all to make sure your chat is going to everyone rather than just hosts and panelists, because then everyone gets a chance to see it. A little overwhelmed. Yeah, I was expecting someone to say a bit overwhelmed. For some people, the Christmas break's not necessarily the peaceful, relaxing break that we all like to have. But for many of us, we do feel refreshed and ready to go. I'll just let a few more of those comments come through there. Looking forward to a great year, motivated. All right, well, hopefully today's session is going to help. Hopefully today's session will help us get started and get it on track. So here are my contact details for you. For those of you that haven't met me before, as I've mentioned, my name is Matt, and the business I run and represent here in Australia is called Think Productive. We are the productivity ninjas. Everything we do at Think Productive globally is around creating a work revolution where everyone loves Mondays. Now, that's a big call, but that's our vision, and that's what gets us out of bed in the morning, and that's what we're here to help with today. Ninja Julie is here as well. Ninja Julie's one of our fantastic trainers here in Australia. Did you want to say hello? Quick hello there, Julie. Putting you on the spot there. She might not have been ready.
Sorry, Matt, I had myself on mute, so you didn't hear my background noises. Hi, everybody, I'm here, and I'm just uploading the handout again for those that may have just joined.
Thank you, beautiful. Thanks, Julie. So for those of you that haven't come across the Productivity Ninja book, this was written by Graham Alcott. Graham is based in the UK, and Graham is the founder of Think Productive Global. And I came across Graham's book about 7 years ago now, I think it was 2014, when I was working in corporate and I was feeling quite stressed in my work. And I bought this book, and it really helped me get focused on what I needed to focus on, reduce my stress, so much so that I became a ninja. And now I'm a full-time productivity ninja and own the business Think Productive here in Australia. But that's enough about us. Let's get talking about what are we going to do today. Today is all about harnessing our ninjas. For those of you that have done workshops with us, you'll recognize a lot of the ninjas, harnessing our ninjas and getting stuck into some planning today. Today is very much an action-based session. We'll be sharing some theory, but I want you to do some planning and some thinking. So make sure you've got a pen and some paper. If you can print that handout, that'll be helpful, but you don't have to. You can just do some scribbles as we go. So lots of planning today, and there is also a focus on well-being. It's very important as we get started in the year, as we think about the year ahead, about our self-care and our human, not superhero as well. So many of you will recognize the 9 ninjas: Zen-like calm, ruthlessness, weapon savvy, stealth and camouflage, unorthodoxy, agility, mindfulness, preparedness, human, not superhero. Whew, sounds like a lot. So today we're focusing on 4. Today, we're bringing in some skills and techniques from 4 of these ninjas: our stealth and camouflage, our hiding ninja, mindfulness, that self-awareness kind of ninja and mindfulness thinking there. Preparedness is a big one as we plan for the year, and human, not superhero, the self-care aspect. So let's get started and talk about this idea of stealth and camouflage, hiding like a ninja. The reason we want to hide is so we can actually get some focused work done. One of the big challenges in today's workplace and workforce and ways of working and hybrid working is we're constantly contactable. The phone's always going off, which reminds me, let me put mine on. on flight mode here. The phone's always going off and distracting us. Things are always happening. So we need time to plan and focus and time to get some proper work done. So what we're going to do here in this session today is a bit of planning to set ourselves up for success in the year. So I want you to be thinking about where can you put time in your calendar to tackle that email backlog? Where can you schedule time to get that work done? Where can you schedule a team catch up? Some time for some regrouping, reconnection with the team that you work with. Planning and reviewing and setting up for 2023. We'll do some of that in the session today, but it will be really good to also plan some time for you to do that. Put an hour or two in your calendar somewhere so that you can actually have some planning time, some preparation time. And we'll be thinking now about where might you schedule your weekly review. So for those of you that have done our workshops before, we've talked about weekly reviews. It's 1 or 2 hours a week. We always start with one, so it's manageable. 1 hour a week where you can stop and reflect and pause and plan ahead, but also reflect back on what's been happening. So what we're going to do now is we're not going to do all that now because there's a lot of stuff to do there, but we're going to plan the time. So you've got 2 minutes now where I encourage you to open up your calendar and block out some time in your calendar in the next 1 to 2 weeks to do some of these things. Block out some time to do the planning, block out, maybe even send an invitation to the team, say, okay, let's do a catch up here. And also block out some time for your weekly review. Now make that a weekly recurring meeting so that you've got that blocked in your calendar. So a couple of minutes to do that. I'm sorry I don't have any background music to play, but we'll do 2 minutes. So let's go. I'll start a timer. So do some planning, open up your calendar, schedule in some slots, and then these will come up as reminders for you as things you need to focus on. 2 minutes. And Happy New Year, Jennifer. Thanks for your lovely comment there. Happy New Year, everybody. So open up those calendars, block out some time. Having time scheduled in there to actually do the work will really make a difference. So today we are doing some planning and thinking, but this is actually planning to do the planning, if that makes sense, or planning to do the thinking. We need time, and this time is going to be our ninja stealth and camouflage time. So we're 1 minute through our 2 minutes. So keep going. Think about anything else you might want to block out some time for as we look in that calendar and plan ahead. Nice work, Jason. I see your comment in the chat there. You've had this time blocked for 2 years. In the last 10 days, first time I've actually done them. Yeah, I was going to make a comment on that. That's really interesting. They do make life easier. Well done, Jason. Yes. Let everyone keep planning. 15 seconds. Block that time out. These serve as good reminders. If you haven't put your weekly review in, at least put it in for this week or next week, so it's there as a reminder for you. All right, well done. That's our 2 minutes up. So if you're anything like me, you love to think about planning the year ahead. You'd love to do it perfectly. You'd love to have this big plan set up, a beautiful vision board. I always get these things emailed to me about planning the year, etc. Always good intentions, and often I don't make the time to sit down and actually do the work. I gather all the resources, but I don't sit down and do the work. Now, Julie and I are great at doing our business planning and everything for Think Productive, but not always that personal part. So running this webinar today has been a really good reminder for me to actually do the work rather than just think about the concepts. So that's what we're doing here today. Great comment. Thanks, Jason. Any other comments, please feel free to share them in the chat. So the second idea we want to get stuck into today is around think the key. The key to all of our productivity is to do the thinking, do the planning, And that's what we've done here. We've started to do some planning in terms of putting some time in the calendar. Boss thinking is one of the concepts we talk about. This, to me, is one of our foundational key productivity concepts that we share in our workshops. A lot of you would have heard this before, but I will explain it again. In our brain, we've got two different ways of working. We've got our boss mode and our worker mode. Our worker brain or our worker mode is good at doing the work, good at doing the tasks. Our boss mode does the planning and the thinking. They're both helpful and they're both great. The challenge and the stress comes when we try and do both of these things at the same time. So we're in the middle of doing our work and then we think, oh, I need to do some planning. I need to do some strategy work. So I'm now confused. I've stopped doing the actual work that I was doing. So boss thinking is when we take the time to stop, reflect, plan. I like to think of it as getting above the work, the helicopter view, or stepping back from the work, if that language makes sense. And boss thinking is making this time to plan. So when we go back into worker mode, we've got our to-do list set up, we've got our second brain organized, and we get into that. We can get into the work with less effort, with less friction, if you like. So boss thinking is a really key concept. So what we want to do here, and I mentioned today, was action-based. What we want to do here is some looking back so that we can look ahead. So we want to start by looking back at 2022. If you've printed out the handout, you can use this section at the top of the handout here. If you haven't printed out the handout, you can see it on the screen anyway. So for 3 minutes now, I want to give you this opportunity to do some reviewing. Look back at 2022. I can see Julie's putting their hand out in the chat again. Just thanks, Julie, for those of you that missed it. Look back at 2022. Think about it. What were the highlights? What really worked well in 22? What were the bright moments? What were the memorable bits that really lit you up and fed your soul? And what were the learnings? Where did you make some mistakes? What did you finally shake off, or what do you still haven't shaken off yet and might be planning on that this year? What did you learn in 2022? Where did you trip? If you think of it that way? So in that sense, what do you want more of in 2023? More of those highlights, and what do you want less of? So 3 minutes to plan this, 3 minutes to do some reflection. Actually, we'll do it in 2 minutes because I don't want to run out of time today. So 2 minutes, have a think about 2022. Think back. Even if you skim through your calendar, that's often a good reminder of what actually happened. It was a long year. All right, the clock has started, so I'll give you some time to think. What we really wanted to achieve in this session today was to give you the time to actually do the work rather than just give you more work to do. So think back to 2022. Think about the different parts of your life: professional, personal, family. Okay, 40 seconds. All right, time's up. Just another 10 seconds if you're in the middle of some deep thought there. All right, so it's good to reflect on what actually happened as we plan ahead. So obviously the next stage now is we're going to start looking ahead. I know we're doing this quite quickly today, but we're running through a process that you can do in your own time, of course, but we also wanted to make sure there was a little bit of time to do this today. So think about 2023, planning the year ahead. Imagine you're at the end of 2023. I do love this little imagine box. Imagine you're at the end of 2023 now, reflecting back on the year. What do you want the year to have looked like? How would you describe it to a friend? Is there anything you want to specifically have achieved? Is there a word or a motto that's really going to help, encapsulate your thoughts for 2023? So start planning for this. Once again, we'll do this in 2 minutes because I don't want to run out of time, but 2 minutes to paint yourself a vision, paint yourself a picture of 2023 and reflect back. So 2 minutes on this one, go. Okay, we're 1 minute through. Keep envisioning this wonderful 2023 ahead. And what does it look like for you? This idea of a motto or a phrase that you can use to motivate and inspire yourself during the year. If anyone would like to share that in the chat, share your motto or your phrase or your word. I'd love to see them. When you do share that, just change your chat setting to everyone so everyone can see it rather than just myself and Julie. Thanks everyone for starting to put your phrases in there. I love that. I'll read some of those out for the benefit of the recording, but I'll wait till we finished our 2 minutes. 10 seconds to go. Get yourself a word, a phrase, something that makes 2023 a great year. A little inspirational quote session coming up. These are great. Thank you. I'll read some of these out now. Keep productive and motivated. New opportunities, calm, clarity, connection, develop curiosity. Thanks, Justin. You haven't had a good day unless you've learned something new. You're stronger than you think. Oh, I like that one, Emma. Be brave, be bold, be confident. Oh, Sion, big year ahead for you. Time to be a human being, not just a human doing. I love that, Louise. Hannah, 2023, year of laughter, presence, and steady progress. Oh, wow, these are great. Oh, they're all coming in. That's fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Put that somewhere where you see it. Remember it. Beautiful. Great work. Let's keep moving. We've got such a short session today, such a short amount of time together. Consistency is key. Yes, consistency is my word for the year, Jason. So snap. Well done. Ninja tip number 3, being mindful. Mindfulness. One of our key ninja characteristics around self-awareness, understanding ourselves. Why do we do the things we do? So in this session today, I'll encourage you all to take a moment to think about how you're going to care for yourself and your team this year, bringing in this human, not superhero element as well. Bit of mindfulness, self-awareness. One of the best definitions I like of mindfulness is turning our attention towards our experience. So to help with this, on the handout again, which Ninja Julie created for us, this is a beautiful handout, Julie. We are going to do an exercise here around embracing our mindfulness ninja. I do love this part on the left here. What help do you need in 2023? Who can you ask for help? Who needs your help? Who can you reach out to? Asking for help builds trust as well. And just for a bit of fun, in this bucket list idea, what's one item from your bucket list or something that you'd love to achieve in this year ahead? Like, start thinking about planning that for the year. And we'll talk about breathing in a minute. So I'll give you another 2 minutes, not 3, another 2 minutes to do some mindful reflection here around giving and receiving help, and also planning something big for the year, some sort of audacious bucket list goal. Okay, 2 minutes, go. Okay, 1 minute. So we've still got a good minute here to deep dive, think deep. What's that big item on your bucket list you'd like to achieve this year? And also thinking about this idea of help and support. Lovely to think about what help do we need, but also who can we reach out to and help. Being mindful. "20 seconds. While you're doing that, Gulnaz, I can see you've got your hand raised there. I'm not sure if you have a specific question or something. Please feel free to put any questions in the chat if you have any. Given this is a webinar format with so many people attending, we've got nearly 150 people here today. We don't do meeting format, but webinar format. Find a mentor. Nice one, Wayne. Good. That's a great sort of mindful thought. Our 2 minutes has just finished, everyone. So good work on that one. I hope that's given you something to act on, something to focus on as we move out of today's session. So great. Oh, Gulnaz had a problem with the audio, I think, but it's back. Tip number 4. Now, I've been doing a lot of talking. Tip number 4 is the mindfulness idea of just doing some breathing. So let's do some breathing together. Let's just enjoy this. Exhale. Inhale. Do this with me. It feels good. Feel the oxygen coming into our lungs. A couple more. So we often talk about breathing as a great way to calm our mind. When we're under stress, when we're having an amygdala hijack, our reptilian brain's taking over our brain, a few slow, deep breaths starts to reset the brain. We get the ability to think back, ability to process with our executive functioning. So some nice, slow breathing. I hope you feel better even just after those few. I hope you're still doing it, doing those few slow breaths there. This really makes a difference to our brain, our body, obviously our ability to be productive, which is a big focus for us, of course. But when we're thinking about this human, not superhero, keep that breath alive. Often the time I say it's a good time to do some deep breaths is when we're waiting for the computer. Like we might be waiting for a file to upload or a website to refresh or something. So just that's a good time to do a couple of deep breaths rather than go and look at our emails, rather than go and look at the news. Just do a few deep breaths. So that's a good moment to catch ourselves there. Finally, human, not superhero, looking after our physicality, if you like, eating well, make sure we're drinking plenty of water to keep our brain and body hydrated, keep movement. You can all see I'm standing up here today. I love the standing desk. It keeps me alert, keeps me moving, but also getting out for some exercise, taking regular breaks and encouraging your team to take regular breaks. The book you can see on the screen here, How to Have the Energy, is the relaunched version of Work Fuel that Graham wrote with his nutritionist, Colette Hennigan. Really practical tips and tools on eating well for work, eating well for everyday life. So it's not perfect nutritionist type information. It's more around, what do we do when we're traveling? How do we eat well when we're traveling? How do we eat well when we don't have time for a lunch break? These kind of things. So How to Have the Energy might be an interesting book you want to have a look at. So we've covered a lot today. I know we're almost out of time. I'm about to share some special offers we've got, a little bit more information about our workshops. So wanting to wrap up here, we've got some extra workshops, like so much we can support you and your team with. Have a look at our website. I wanted to show you one workshop that's not on this list that does come up on our website called Team Vision Rocket Fuel. If you're thinking about planning the year, planning ahead, this is a really good workshop for planning. It still says 2022 here, I'm sorry, but this is a really good workshop for getting the team together, focusing on our productivity, but also focusing on our planning and our visioning. So Julie, who's on the call here today, runs these ocean flow goal setting and vision boarding workshops. And we combine that with our Ninja workshop, which is a really great, inspiring session for the team. So you can always have a look at that one on the website, the Team Vision Rocket Fuel. And the other one, as I just go back to the screen here, is some special offers I've got for you. So I'm going to stop the recording because I don't want these special offers going onto YouTube because they're limited time. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching the recording, I'll just pause the recording here now or stop the recording.